This is WPTV, William Patterson Television.
Welcome back to the desk. The NFL draft has come and gone, and here to break down your team's picks is Andrew Balistreri, JJ Woodards, Fritz Napoleon, and Bijan Pulley. Guys, on Thursday we had the first round of the NFL draft, and I can tell you for sure it wasn't even close to our mock. But nonetheless, teams made their selections, and there were some good, and there were some bad. We'll start with you, Bijan. What was the best pick, in your opinion, in the first round of the NFL draft on Thursday?
I got to go with my Philadelphia Eagles first-round pick, Quinyon Mitchell at 22. I loved him as a prospect, and so did a lot of the NFL draft media. Most people project him to go from 13th to the 17th overall pick, and I thought the Eagles would have to trade up to get him, but he fell right into the Eagles' lap. Before the draft, the Eagles' corner room was a big position of need, and now Quinyon gives the Eagles a guy that can start from day one. Quinyon's already great in zone coverage, which Fangio runs mostly, and plus he has the ceiling of being an all-pro caliber corner with his frame and how athletic he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Quinyon Mitchell, like you said, projected to go in that middle of the first round, ends up falling to a bit later than we would have thought. But Bally, going over to you, what do you think was the best pick in the NFL draft?
Unfortunately, I have to go with Malik Neighbors to the New York Giants. It was a great pick at pick 6. He was a phenomenal receiver at LSU. He was an All-American last year, All-SEC. I had 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns last year. The Giants really did get a steal here. If it wasn't for all these quarterbacks, probably would have been a top 3 pick, probably would have been the number 1 receiver without Marv. But the Giants needed their number 1 guy, and now they got it.
Absolutely. Fritz, over to you. What do you think was the best pick in the draft?
I'm going to have to go with the Windy City, going with Rome Odunze to the Chicago Bears at pick 9. Look, one of the things that you need if you have a top-tier quarterback in Caleb Williams is weapons, and I don't think it's far-fetched to say that they have one of the best wide receiver rooms right now in the league. Pairing him with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, I think that offense is going to be really high-flying and really just a quarterback-friendly environment for Caleb Williams to come into.
Absolutely. JJ, quickly?
Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. I mean, when this guy ran the fastest 40 time in history, we all said, what happens if he goes to the Chiefs? Well, thanks to the Bills, he's on the Chiefs now. He just gave Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid a fast receiver. I mean, this could look like the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Yeah, it definitely could. Brandon being said, it's not like we traded the player to him, but unfortunately, they got a really fast player. But from the best to the worst, JJ, we'll go back to you. Who do you think was the worst pick in the first round of the NFL draft?
Vicky Pearsall going to the 49ers. Now, I felt like they really kind of reached it a little bit. Now, I understand there's questions with Ayuk and Debo, but I just felt like they had other needs. You needed something at D-tackle. Javon Hargrave's 31 years old, and you need something at corner. You only have Tre'Davious Wood. You could have just got a wide receiver in the second, third round. There was a lot of wide receivers in this draft this year, but I felt like they just really reached.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment. Fritz, we'll go to you. What do you think was the worst pick in the NFL draft in the first round?
This one right here shocked a lot of people. I have to go with the Atlanta Falcons taking Michael Penix Jr., and it's no fault to him and his talent. I feel like he's one of the greatest quarterbacks that's coming out of this draft right now, but you sign a 35-year-old Kirk Cousins coming off of an ACL injury, and what do? You get a backup that's coming off of not one, but 2 ACL injuries, and pairing that with the shoulder injury on top of that. I think Atlanta just likes injured quarterbacks at this point. I mean, it's not even, I just feel as though that they're in a win-now mode right now. They don't have the time to have a quarterback to sit behind somebody and learn. They definitely should have went to the defensive side of the ball because they're in the win-now state. They could have got somebody to help them win now instead of sitting on the bench behind Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I definitely think that pick shocked a lot of people and kind of transformed the rest of the first round and how that worked out. But Bally, we'll go over to you. Worst pick in the first round?
I got to go with J.C. Latham going to the Titans. He's a guy that's got a lot of speed and a lot of size coming out of Alabama, but penalties have been a huge issue for him, especially over the last 2 years. Has almost 20 penalties in the last 2 years, and, this really could cause him to struggle early. Obviously played at Bama, so he played against really good players, but the guys in the NFL are just a different beast. I think it was a little bit of a reach, could have traded back and gotten someone later.
Absolutely. Bijan, quickly.
Darius Robinson, I saw him as a mid to late second-round pick, and the Cardinals drafting him at 27, big reach. He doesn't have the best burst off the line of scrimmage, lacks change of direction skills, his bend is below average, doesn't have a great arsenal of pass rush moves. And the Cardinals, they do need help in their defense, but they need, especially in that secondary, they should have drafted guys like Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid McKinstry, or Cooper DeJean, all available, and I had way higher on my board than Darius Robinson.
Absolutely, and you said the second round, and the highlight of the draft is mainly on the first round, but rounds 2 through 7 are really where teams are built, with many players going under the radar in those rounds. Fritz, we'll start with you. Who do you think was the biggest steal in the NFL draft?
Look, one of the biggest steals I think is Troy Franklin
Love
going
it.
from Oregon to the Denver Broncos.
Love it.
Look,
Yeah, we know why.
one positive that you already have is pairing him with his college quarterback and Bo Nix. Look, he's just very explosive. One of the things that Denver has been lacking is just a true number one receiver. You know, you have people like Jerry Jeudy who, it's not really his fault, but didn't really live up to the hype of a true number one receiver. I feel like he's very explosive, really able to take the top off of the defense. So pairing him with his college quarterback, let's hope that they can bring some of that magic from Oregon over to the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, definitely for my case. But JJ, moving on to you, biggest steal in the draft.
It has to be Cooper DeJean. It has to be Cooper DeJean to the Eagles. I mean, this Eagles secondary was horrible last year. 31st in pass defense. You draft Quinyon Mitchell, now you add Cooper DeJean. This is great for the Eagles.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Bijan, on to you. Biggest steal in the NFL draft.
I got to go with Adonai Mitchell. He was my wide receiver 5 in this class. I had a mid to late first round grade on him. The Colts getting him with this 52nd pick is incredible value. Now, he fell because of character concerns, but I think they were completely overblown, and he's way too good of a player. Route running sharp and crisp, can win at the catch point, good deep threat. He's tall, 6'4". The Colts offense with Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, now Adonai Mitchell and Josh Downs, with Shane Steichen at the helm, is going to be special for the next several years.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to watch, especially this season. All of them are so young. But, Baylee, we'll close this question out with you. Biggest steal in the NFL draft.
No bias. Give me Cooper Beebe going to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys desperately needed a new center, new interior offensive lineman. This guy played guard and center at Kansas State. They needed someone to plug and play, and he's the perfect guy for it. He's a 2-time offensive lineman of the year in the Big 12, and the Cowboys just got a really good player in the 3rd round.
Yeah, they really overhauled their offensive line with their first couple of picks. I was very happy with what the Cowboys
going all
did.
in, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, it wouldn't be WP Sports Desk without doing some kind of way too early prediction. We've got over 350 days until the 2025 NFL Draft, but we're looking forward to it. And, Andrew, who do you think will be the first overall pick in next year's draft?
I'm going to go with Carson Beck, quarterback of the Georgia Bulldogs. He's going to be highly sought after next season. Scouts are already saying they like him better than Ewers and Sanders. And, you know, being on a team like Georgia, he's going to get a lot of spotlight, getting a ton of nationally televised games, has a really good chance of going to the national championship. He can really solidify himself as that number 1 overall pick for next year.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Bijan, who do you think ends up being the first overall pick next year?
I'm going to go with James Pierce Jr., edge rusher from Tennessee. He's 6'5", 242 pounds. He has great burst off the line of scrimmage. Also has great flexibility to bend off the edge. His spin move is already at NFL caliber, and he has a great motor. Now, he's a bit raw and has to develop better usage with his hands, but if he gets drafted to a team with a good D-line coach to help him develop and refine his skills, he has all the physical makings of being an all-pro.
I agree 100%. I'm looking forward to his season next year. JJ, who do you think ends up being the first overall pick next year?
I got to go with Shedeur Sanders, and you feel me? You got to do that. Dude for 3,000 yards last year, 27 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, had a bad offensive line last year. I think they're going to be way better this year, and he's going to rise up to all that hype that Cardell is getting, because they're getting a lot of hype.
No, I agree. I was
Reality TV stars.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him, but I think the improved offensive line should help. Fritz, close us out for this one. Who do you think ends up going first overall in 2025?
Maybe an unpopular pick, but I'm going to go with Will Johnson out of Michigan. Look, one of the best ways to combat this offensive boom that's happening in the NFL is to get you a nice physical corner on the outside. Some statistics from him last year, he held his opponents to 45% completion percentage, 29% passer rating, and a 4.6 QBR when targeting him. I think that he can have a great season for Michigan this year, and really is going to prove why he's one of the best players in the draft.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It'd be interesting to see a corner go first overall, but that's going to do it for the NFL. Coming up next, we've got some ice talk with the NHL playoffs on Sports Desk.